Good morning, my friends. Welcome into Wake Up Legendary. Hope everybody's doing fantastic on this Tuesday morning. Go ahead and leave a comment on the right side if you can hear me, if I sound good, and if I look good. You don't have to tell me if I look good. I know I look good. But go ahead and leave a comment to let me know that you're here. And welcome on in. It's going to be just me today. So Dave's out in New York City. He's out traveling, so he wasn't able to make it in this morning. So it's going to be just me. How exciting, right? And what it kind of reminded me of, because we were talking about it a little bit, was out there in New York City, a place I'd always really like to go would be like 47th Street, to like the Diamond District. I don't know if anybody here has ever been there, but it's basically just this area of the city where it's just known for lots of jewelry and luxury watches. And I'm a watch guy, right? Dave's a watch guy. So we get to talking about this stuff sometimes. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen the content creators out in the Diamond District, but some of these guys are actually really, really incredible. They've all got millions of followers, and they really figured out how to take a really niche topic, right? Like jewelry, right? Like jewelry is not really like a high popularity. I guess it kind of is, but it's not like on the same level as, like, watching the news or watching a sports highlight or watching a cute dog or cat video, right? It's specifically jewelry and jewelry business, right? So even take all the people that are just interested in buying jewelry, and they're probably not really going to watch this content, but they found a way to kind of break through. So it's really, really cool. It's a really good example of how a really niche topic can become something that's appealing to the masses by adding the right level of entertainment to it. And so today I was going to kind of pull some of these pages up and kind of show you what this looks like so you can get an idea. So I'm going to share my screen here with you, and then you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. It's so cool. It's fascinating. It really is. Let me see. I think if I do it like this, and then you know what I'll have to do here? We're going to do, because I want to be able to get get you guys the sound. So I think I'm just going to share one of these at a time. So we're going to do this. There we go. So this is a guy, this guy here, he's kind of like, I don't know. I think he's kind of like on the top as far as the content creators go. This is a guy named Moses. So what's interesting about this is, if you look at this guy, like this other lady here, this is a lady named Carrie. And then as we come down, we'll probably find the other one. This is a guy named Trax NYC. So not only are these guys all just creating content and they just figured out how to make interesting jewelry and watch related content, what they're also doing is they're collaborating with one another constantly, like nonstop. And they're all doing that and boosting each other up. So like they're doing deals with each other on camera, like this one here. Like this is like how cool.
I'm buying.
Like,
I'm buying AP. How much?
Right here.
he's out on the street trying to buy watches from just people that are walking around.
I'll give you 12K right now, cash. 12,000 cash right now.
This is my first Rolex.
Give me 12,000 right now, cash.
And I've watched a lot of these, and in most cases, people actually won't sell them. But what's interesting is he does these all the time, because look at the views on it, right? Now, for a guy like this, he's already in New York City. He's already in the Diamond District. All he's got to do is, go out of his shop, and he's already got a bunch of people on the street that are looking to buy or looking to sell or whatever. He makes a video out of it. He just holds a sign up in the air and says, "I want to buy your Rolex." And I don't know that I've ever seen him buy one on the street, but every time he does one of these videos, it's because, think about it, right? Why are people really going to watch this? Well, it's because you're seeing something out of the ordinary, right? You're seeing something extreme, but something you're still familiar with, right? Everybody knows, right? He could have went out there and said, "I'll buy your Richard Mille." But most people who are watching content, they don't know what that is, right? Richard Mille is also a very popular, very high-end, watch brand, right up there with, Rolex. So, but people know what a Rolex is, right? Without a doubt, everybody knows what a Rolex is. They might not know the different models or the makes or whatever, but they're going to know what that is. So what's interesting about it is he goes out here and he's got this cardboard sign, right? You would think if he's buying Rolexes, he'd have a nicer sign, right? So it's just a good attention grab. And then, even though you know what the video's about, there's still that bit of anticipation. There's still that suspense that you don't know what's going to happen yet. Is he going to buy one? Is he not going to buy one? Then you get, he actually gets to talking to somebody, and you get to watch that negotiation. You get to watch that interaction happen. And we don't know how it's going to pan out. And because it's also designed so that way he doesn't know how it's going to pan out, it makes it even more interesting. So these guys, they'll teach you a lot of stuff. He had a very popular video. If I hit this popular tab, we should probably find it, but maybe not. I don't want to spend a bunch of time looking for it. But basically, he did a video where he took a diamond and he just scratched the hell out of the top of a Rolex. And that video did really, really well, too. I'm not seeing it here. Maybe he didn't post it on his TikTok. They post on all the platforms. But anyways, they do stuff like that. So there's still the education piece is still there, right? So it makes it really, really interesting. Now, another one of these guys, let me see here. I just have to present something else. So I think I have to hit the stop screen here and then share screen and then choose something else. Now, this is another guy. Now, this guy's less like watches, but this guy does more of the actual jewelry. So like gold chains and stuff like that. So he's very entertaining to watch because he just makes some outrageous stuff. Now here he's doing something on the street right now. Again, I'm showing you all this, but I want you to keep this in mind. This is something that anybody can do. Anybody who's watching this, if you're trying to get views on social media, get a lot of views, right? What can you really talk about when it comes to gold coins, right? You see, he's got the gold coin. What can you really talk about when it comes to gold coins? You can educate people, but how do you make it not boring? How do you make it not, right? You want to just make it interesting. So he's taking this gold. He's stashing this gold. I think he's in Dublin in this video. He's taking this and he's just stashing it somewhere on camera. And people who watch the video will know where he stashed it so somebody can go and find it. What he'll do also, because they cast a lot of their own stuff, they design a lot of their own jewelry. Like here, we're probably going to see.
So you're going to take this and throw it right down there. What is this barrel going to do? It's filled with silver. It's going to go to the refinery, and we're going to cash it out. Big bags. Big bags.
So he's talking about refining silver and going through the process of melting it down. And so it's really, really interesting content. This here is a great attention grab. So
you got $1 million in gold chains right here. That's $1 million for this pile. You got another million here, another million here, and another million here.
It's a lot of gold. Yeah. So it's an interesting way to open a video, right? He's got these big, massive trays of just gold chains. It's not something you normally see. Not just anybody really is doing that online. But, right, this guy shows up, and then here he is. And now he's educating you on this particular video. I'm willing to bet he's going to talk about.
This is $1 million pile in 22 karat. Yeah. This is $1 million pile in 10 karat. This pile is bigger. You got more chains here, but they're cheaper. So you got more chains, same money, okay? Because this is 14 and 18.
Imagine how crappy this video would be if he was on a screen share, right? If he was sitting here and he was at a computer and he was sharing a screen showing the different gold, like on a listing, and he was just talking about the different gold purities, right? So like that would be a purity like 10 karat, 14 karat, 18 karat, 24. Like he's talking about the different purities. Imagine how boring that video would be. But he's got the perfect opportunity, right? It's easy for him to grab all this stuff right off his shelf, right? He's probably got this in his displays or just in the back room. He's selling it all the time, has a few pieces on display. And he just pulls this out and he uses it to make a video. And so it makes it really, really interesting to teach the same stuff because he's doing it in a more interesting way. These are acting as props. Same thing happens when he goes out on the street. Now, here's an example of one, right? This is
who's going to chase me down now.
Well,
listen, we have a solid gold golf
I feel like
ball
you're going to
here.
know.
If you could guess the value spot on, you're getting an ounce. If you're close, you might get some gold, you might get some silver.
And you know gold. I can tell by the chain.
I can't feel it, right?
You can feel for a second.
No. How?
All right, let me hold your license. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, they say on my phone.
So anyway, he's collaborating with Paulie D here. So that's obviously going to give him a bit of a boost. There's people that know Paulie D. So they're going to stop and watch the video because he's in it. But basically what's going on here is he's asking people to guess the weight of this gold ball, and then he's going to give you an ounce depending on how close you get. Now, I've seen a bunch of these videos, and he gives you a coin, or he gives you however much silver or gold just for guessing, you get the participation trophy, right? You don't even have to get it right. You don't even have to be close. I've had seen people say, oh, I think it's worth $1 because I think it's fake. And he's like, all right, well, if you think it's fake, then obviously you're not right. So and then he still gives him a silver coin. I might have slapped him in the mouth if that was me. But anyways, I don't have the patience. But he's got a really interesting way of getting attention, right? You can see he's wearing this just massive gold chain right now. That thing's got to be really heavy, weighing him down. And he's giving away gold. And you may be wondering, like, how can they afford to do that? An ounce of gold is what, $3,000 right now? Well, they can do that because they're making more money off the videos than what it costs to get rid of that gold. Like if we come over here and we look at these, right? Because he's got a link to his jewelry, his store up here. He's always advertising his store and where he's at. Imagine being able to give away gold coins that are worth, if they're an ounce right now, they're worth $3,000 a piece, giving away multiple in a video that got 200,000 views because your business and your marketing is bringing in enough customers. So it's kind of unfathomable to think about that. But that's the reality for these guys. They've got it figured out. They figured out how to take this really niche market and make it entertaining to a massive group of people. And these guys aren't afraid of what people think, right? They're walking around. Sure, you can say that, oh, they've got the gold chain. They look good. They feel good. So they're really confident. But anybody can go around. Mostly you watch these videos, you notice most people walking down the street, like, look at this one here. I'm just going to mute this. He's dumping a bunch of cash on the street. Right now, people are paying attention, but even then, most people really don't care. Right? They're standing there with their cameras. They're throwing cash around on the street in New York City, silver bars and gold. It looks like there's gold in there too. And all right, people are starting to pay attention. This guy's not going too far. He's hanging around. These people don't care. Right? They're standing there throwing money in the air, talking, screaming, making a bunch of noise. Nobody cares what they got going on. Nobody cares that there's somebody there with a camera and they're filming something. So, what are we all afraid of, right? What's stopping everybody here from going out? Not maybe doing this. I don't want you to go make a withdrawal and throw it in the street, but what's stopping you from going in public to get more attention, to make your video more interesting, right? Again, he could have did this in a back room. Whatever the message he's trying to communicate, he could have hid in the back room of his store or in an office and filmed this. Instead, he did it on the street. Why? Because it makes it more interesting. And these are all $1 bills now that are going to get taken by people. Obviously, he's kicking them all around. You got silver coins in there. He's just donating it to the public because it makes for an interesting video. You hear people like Mr. Beast talk about this a lot too, where it's like, I can give away a whole bunch of money on a video because I'm going to make more than that back, right? It's part of the investment into the video. And this is something that for most people, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you did this, right? Why doesn't this happen to me when I go to New York, right? So it's almost like a fantasy thing, like this El Jefe guy. He's like, man, I wish this would happen when I go there. This guy's ready to go sit on a street corner for weeks, even if he doesn't make a dime, just to see if this guy's going to come out and throw some money or some gold and silver around. So it's one of those things that people aren't used to seeing. So it gets attention. And anybody can do these kinds of things. You just go out and you could do it in a parking lot. You could do it in a somewhere where there's just a public background where people are walking around. Your videos will get attention because you're on location. It's just more interesting that way, right? We've also got this other guy. He's really, really interesting too. I'm going to pull this one up now. This one, let me see. This is going to be a much younger guy. So this guy is actually not even a jeweler, but he's in that same group. Like I said, this whole community of jewelers, this whole community of people are all in cahoots. I mean, they got it figured out. They all make bomb. He's got 2.2 million followers. The Trax guy has over 2 million. The Moses has 1.5. And then this last one I show you has a lot less, but she's in some of these videos. This guy's just a flipper. This is a 24-year-old kid. He's already made over $1 million, and he's a 24-year-old kid, and he makes it flipping watches. So like if we look at like this is what he does.
All right, welcome back to Fast Flips. Just picked up a two-tone Daytona from Sharpe.
You know what?
You would do that?
Yeah, we do.
He bought this watch.
Just bring the paper.
Very nice watch.
We're going to see Mike Shim right now. Hopefully he buys it. Long time no hug.
Now, one thing I want to point out is look at how much information we've consumed already, and we're only 18 seconds in, right? For some of you, your first block of text didn't disappear until 18 seconds in, and nothing has happened in your video yet. Look at how much, I'm going to replay this, and I want you to pay attention to how much information got communicated in the first 18 seconds of this almost 2-minute video. It's wild.
All right, welcome back to Fast Flips. Just picked up a two-tone Daytona from Sharpe.
He's already said all this. We're only 4 seconds in.
You know what?
You would do that?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Just bring the paper.
Want to go sell it? We're going to see.
We're 14 seconds into this video. We already saw the negotiation to buy the watch. He's got the watch, and we saw the watch. We learned what the video is going to be, and we already know what he's going to be going to do, right? Want to go sell it, right? So, and he does this all the time. He goes and he flips it, and his audience gets used to this. His audience learns that, okay, this guy's flipping watches. Sometimes he makes a profit. Sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he makes a lot of money. Sometimes he makes a little bit. They all know that he's good at what he does. They all know that he's going to be selling a watch, right? They know what the video is about, but they want to see it play out. They want to see how the negotiation happens. It's like a sales sort of thing. It's education that's really interesting because you don't know what you're going to pick up on as you're watching it. So if we pick up on some unique detail that maybe we can use in some area of our life, that's kind of what we're waiting for, right? That's kind of what we're waiting for. And this guy's out here all day, every day doing this. What am I doing here? Hang on. Let me fix my, there we go. So it makes for very interesting content. It's sticky. It's content that you have to sit and watch all the way through to the end. He's got a lot of interesting stuff. He's got a live negotiation right here, and just look at these views, right? And this guy, he's out here just kind of showing off, just doing what he does, just acting cool and stuff, just being himself and doing what he does, right? Every video is about some sort of either store related thing because he's opening up a store, or some sale related thing, making a $3,000 profit, reselling watches, live watch negotiation package deal. So you can come in here and there's a lot of options for you to see. You can learn a lot about negotiating and a lot about doing what he does just from watching his videos, right? It's not like he's sitting here teaching you the step by step. Here's what you have to do if you want to flip watches. He does do that sometimes, but he just does it. He brings you right into what he actually does and lets you watch what he does. And as that's taking place, you're learning stuff. So that's the edutainment thing that's going on here. And it's gotten him 2.2 million followers. How many people do you think actually care about Rolex watches, right? Do you think all 2.2 million people, right? I see it in his comments all the time, right? If we go, like, we could take a look at this. This is his most popular video, 29 million views, which is ridiculous, right? I don't know if we're going to find anything really quickly in the comments, but neither of these two know how to negotiate. Well, obviously they do, because a great deal was made, right? So you still get those. Guys commenting on the watch, right? Can you help me buy a date just on 47th? So it's interesting, right? Because people come through. What I was kind of looking for was how this right here, actually, what's right in front of us. How do I even start reselling watches, right? So it's people are seeing this and they're becoming inspired. They're wanting to get started. They're wanting to learn how to do this. And and they're on the perfect profile for it. And then what's interesting here is if we go to his link, I know that this guy in particular, he's actually, I'm going to open this up, but I think it's going to open in a new tab. Yeah, it did. So let me open up. So he's got this page here, which is, it's not the traditional funnel setup. I mean, it could be a whole lot better. He uses this platform called WAP, and he's got this watch trading community. I'm not in it, but I've seen him use it, and the way he advertises it in his content just flows so naturally. You know, usually at the end of any one of those flips videos where he's trying to flip a watch on the street, he's going to the different jewelers and trying to give it to somebody. What he'll do is if he's not successful in selling the watch on 47th Street, what he'll do is he'll post it on here. And what he'll do is he'll do that right in the video. So now you can see how valuable the community is, because he'll usually sell the watch same day. I think pretty much every time he posts a watch inside of his name is Vukum Verified, inside of his sort of virtual shop here, he sells it, right? So, and he makes a profit generally. He's got a lot of other people that are resellers in here. He's got a lot of just regular people in there. And you click this join button and watch what happens. Oh, it costs money. It's not free. So I know I watched him in a podcast not too long ago. He did an interview and he was in a podcast, and he's made well over $1 million just in the last year from this community, based on what he says. Or maybe it's since he started it, but he's more than 7 figures with this business, right? And all he's doing, again, the point I want to, the important piece to this, let me go back to the actual profile here. Imagine 7 figures just posting your day to day, having somebody with a camera follow your ass around and just posting your day to day. That's what they're doing. That's what all of these are doing. And if you watch some of these, you'll even see, like, if he goes and does a deal with the Moses guy is also always filming everything. So what happens is you see their cameramen. You got one filming the other one, and these guys, they've got like actual, camera, like the Moses guy, at least he's got an actual camera crew behind him. So, they've got it's a pretty, well-established production. It's not like, oh, we accidentally captured this, I'm going to film it, and now everybody's copying me. It works well. It's almost like television that you're watching here. And it works. They all work together. They're all tagging each other on these posts. And it really is, right? A lot of people like to say when they watch these, oh, the cameraman was just there in the corner. Like, yeah, he was. Like, he's hired to be there full time. They follow them with cameras all day, right? They've talked about this on podcasts and stuff because people say that all the time. They're always following them around. And yes, the camera guy was just there. So they catch everything, which is also what makes it really, really interesting. They don't have to worry about not missing an important detail or not missing something that's going to make it cool or make it valuable, because the camera person's just always there, right? They also have an interesting style, right? So like if we click into one of these, like let's just go over to this one. Like if we could pick any one of these negotiations. Like, let's look at this. Like, watch how the camera work is.
How much is that 5712? 5712G.
This one, 70,000.
You see how it shows him and then the cameraman goes, so you got a skilled camera person too. So this isn't just focused on his face and what he might be saying, or just one still shot filming the whole conversation with both people in it. You've got a dynamic camera person that, like, look, here's my phone, right? They know what they're supposed to be filming at all times. And that increases the quality of the video. So there's a lot of little things that contribute to how well these perform. And all of them do this. They all have camera people that know this stuff. These little details make a huge difference in the performance of the video. Let's watch the beginning again. Watch.
How much is that 5712?
See how it's even zooming in on his face? They might have done that in post-production, or they could have done that in person, but watch.
How much is that 5712? 5712G.
This one,
Now it goes down to the watch. It's showing her hand going in and grabbing it. And then it's going to zoom out and pan in and show the person behind the counter.
70,000. What do you think?
The reaction. Look at it. Just back and forth. Not staying.
You know what year it is?
It's too long.
1 second. Let me ask my boss.
2013.
Hey, folks.
How boring would this video be if it was just like a security cam footage with the audio, or if it was just like way back here and you're just watching the whole interaction and there's no really any movement? How much more boring would it be? Those tiny little subtle things that you don't even notice when you're trying to watch this stuff and trying to like teach yourself, right? If you can start picking up on some of these and start implementing this in your content, oh my God, are your views going to skyrocket? Just these little things. And a lot of this type of stuff you can do in post-production. There's a lot of this stuff you can do in an editor, right? If you film, right? I'll give you a little editing hack here. If you film content in 4K on your phone, right? If you don't have a phone that'll do 4K, it's 2025. Get with the program. If you film in 4K horizontally, you can film this whole group of people, right? So you can do like 2 or 3 people sitting around having a conversation, get them all in the shot. You can zoom it in up to 2x, and you won't lose any quality if you're editing on a 1080 timeline, right? Which is basically just not 4K. We've heard of 4K. We've heard of 1080, right? Televisions. I know y'all have TVs. You film it like this. You film it in 4K. You edit in 1080, and you can double it. You can zoom it in 2x, and then you can reposition the footage vertically, right? The skinny one, and you can put it over the person you want, and now you can create that clip basically 3 times, and now you've got everybody's face cam there, and then you can edit that to make sure that you have all your angles there. And now post-production, you've just created 3 cameras. Hopefully that makes sense. That's my editing tip of the day. The only editing tip I've ever really gave, because I don't usually do editing tips of the day, but I'll play it off today like it's a regular thing that I do. But anyways, this little bit of camera work, huge deal. And you've got 2 minutes and 20 seconds of it. It keeps the brain occupied. It's all psychological. It makes me want to keep watching the video because there's things happening, right? I'm not getting bored. There's enough time, in between each movement that I'm not going to lose my attention in that time, right? As long as I don't find the video just horrifically boring as a whole, right? Then those little camera movements aren't really going to make the hugest difference, right? If you just have a nothing video and it's just a bunch of movement, people are just going to get nauseous and it's not going to make sense. But if you have a video that's going to make sense, and again, he's just filming his day-to-day, here's what he does, right? Just filming that, and you just have a really good, well-trained camera person, and then you've got good content. Sherry says this is definitely more advanced than me. Not really. I mean, it's just having somebody who can film for you, right? The biggest thing for most of the 91 people in here, the biggest thing is going to be just not having a problem. And you can decide this. This can happen today. Anybody can do this. You could just make the decision, the magical decision that, you know what? It's not going to be a problem that I film in front of people anymore. I'm not going to try to hide, and I'm not going to feel embarrassed, and I'm not going to feel like I can't do it. I'm just going to recruit somebody, whether it's a daughter or a son or a spouse or parent or whoever, teach them how to do it, right? You take it and you teach them, and you show them videos like this and say, this is kind of what I'm looking for. And then you just film your stuff. And it's probably, that other person's probably going to find it really, really fun. I have another student that was getting into YouTube, is getting into YouTube. And she kind of got to that point where it's like, I just feel like I'm alone doing this. I feel like nobody is around me cares and is interesting. And I said, well, have you asked? Right? So long story short, what she does now, or what she has done, is she filmed this entire podcast style video where her sister just asked her questions and prompted her. She wanted a different style of content. So instead of just going in and filming and just talking to a camera, she's like, I wanted to do something a little different. She had her sister prompt her on what the content was, ask her questions, and now she sat there interview style, right? Kind of like this with a microphone, right? She sat there like this, looking at the other person, even though she did it so it's like you saw the back of the person, like you saw like a silhouette with the back of the head as the question was being asked. Then it would zoom in so you could see there was another person there. And she's like this, right? Slight angle. Think podcast, right? Like this. And just answering the question and just creating the content. Like, you've been creating content all this time and now you're getting interviewed. That's really awesome. That's really cool. It was totally staged, but it works. And people like to watch that stuff, and it makes it really interesting. So if you just friggin' ask people, you'll probably be pleasantly surprised at the response that you get, right? I'm interested to know if any one of the 89 people that are here are going to actually do that, right? Would you go and ask, or is this still something that you have to keep a secret because, oh, I don't want to get embarrassed, right? Something like that. I've got more to show you. So let me, go ahead and stop the stream. We've talked about this Vukum guy enough. So if you wanted to look him up, Vukum. Anyways, stop the screen share here. I've got this last one. This one's a little bit different. Now, aside from the Vukum guy, they're all just promoting their jewelry boutiques, right? So they have this one has 333,000 followers. Now this one, she's a little bit less interesting. She's all personality, right? So for those of you that are watching this and you're like, well, I just don't have the energy, I don't have the environment, I can't go give away gold coins on the street. I'm not telling you to give away gold coins. I'm telling you to just do that same activity, right? Do that same activity. Can you go out and give away bottles of water? Right? Can you go out and just start random conversations with people? Can you go out and make it relevant to your niche and make it relevant to what you're trying to promote? Anyways, she doesn't really do any of that. She's very much education. She's very much in dealings with the other jewelers. And she's also a diamond person. So where the Moses and the Vukum guy, they're strictly watches. The Trax guy, he's like gold and silver. She's diamond. So, and I learn a lot of crap from this lady. I mean, she comes in here and she's just kind of dropping the heat every single time, but she's also a little bit entertaining too. Like, she's not like really funny, or she's not like really exciting. Like, oh my God, I can't believe she did that. It's nothing like that. It's just, she's just interesting to listen to. So let me see if I can find you an example. Let's go to her popular videos. And here I am, just got finished telling her that she doesn't do anything on the street. Her most viral video is on the street. What's this one here? So we come in. This has that other jeweler that we saw from the other.
Yes.
Hey.
Dream the dream, my girl.
Your expertise is needed really bad. So I have a guy.
Look at the amount of authority that this girl walking in just gave to the creator, right? She calls herself the godmother of diamonds up here. Look at the amount of authority. Your expertise is needed. You have a jeweler coming in, a known jeweler that owns her own, station or whatever, or maybe she just works there. I don't know. Or she does the marketing. But anyway, she comes in and says, your expertise is needed, right? Now, here's this lady, Carrie, sitting at her desk in her office, and people are coming in. The other jewelers trying to make money, flooding in. They need her expertise. What a massive amount of authority.
A guy outside here, and he's trying to sell me this emeralds, and I do not know anything about emerald stones, but it does have a cert right here. So he's trying to buy a watch, wants to trade it in, and
It's a beautiful emerald.
And it is a beautiful stone, 6.37 carats. So can you help? We need to figure out how he's going to buy that watch.
Okay, let's figure it out. So right now, I'm telling you, this is a Zambian emerald. Zambian origin. It's coming from Africa, not from Colombia.
What is Zambia? How did you know?
Because I could tell. I've been doing this 43 years, and I can tell.
There
The
it
darker
is.
the
More
emerald,
forward.
it's a Zambian emerald. The lighter the emerald, with a little more yellow in it, is the Colombian emeralds.
Colombia.
But this happens to be a beautiful, beautiful Zambian emerald. This happens to be a nice stone.
How much do you think we can get for something like this?
How much is he asking for?
Well, he wants to buy an AP, so I don't know. I'm like, he gave it to me.
How much is the AP he wants to buy?
75,000. And he wants to put that towards the trade. So
And add in
What
the
should I
difference
tell
of the
him?
money. Let's see what you
Yeah.
got here. Let's see what you got here.
Anyways, I think you get the idea. You see the camera work in this one too, right? They're going back and forth. They're going back and forth, going back and forth. So they got that little bit there, but you're also kind of like a fly on the wall. Now, all of a sudden, there's a plot twist. This guy's coming in. I don't know what's going to happen here, but the way it's filmed, you're just kind of a fly on the wall watching this whole thing happen, right? You're on the journey with them. You're going through it with them. And you're just watching this all unfold, right? And you're learning stuff. It's not your problem, right? They've got a problem. There's going to be a resolution. You're getting to see them problem solve and work through it, right? Just interesting to watch. So it's just really, really cool. It makes it really interesting. It's very sticky. It's sticky because we know the topic, we know the general nature of the video, but we don't know enough to be like, okay, I understand what's happening. I don't need to watch the rest. You have to stick around and keep watching it. It's like real time. There's something to filming things real time, right? It's like when we do a workshop, right? When we like, we know this, when we do a live training, like when we do Decade in a Day, for example, I do Decade in a Day. I'm actually going to be doing it this Friday coming up for our Blueprints members. We do Decade in a Day. It's live. People will stay there. They'll ask questions. They'll learn a lot. You put them into a training where they're expected to watch videos and they don't friggin' do it. People don't even open the damn training. You would have no idea. You'd probably all fall out of your chairs when you realize how many people buy training and they never open it. But you do something live and people are all there. They're attentive, right? So even that's why I know when people are asking for replays, will there be a replay? Will there be a replay? 95% of the people asking for a replay are never going to look at the friggin' thing if I send it to you, right? I know that. I've been doing this long enough. But you can kind of bring that same sort of, and I don't know why that is, by the way. Maybe it's just an attention span thing, or it's like I have to be there at the time they're doing it because otherwise I'm going to miss out. So it's like a FOMO thing, maybe. Could be both. But when you take your content that you're filming for social media, you can set it up as if it's a staged recording, right? I'm planning to make this video. I'm designing my hook, and I'm going to sit here and talk to you about this thing. Or you have it being filmed by a third person or even a setup camera in real time, and they're just filming you do this very specific thing, right? They're filming you as you're doing this thing, as it's unfolding. You don't know the outcome. The other person doesn't know. The cameraman doesn't know. And maybe you do. Maybe you get really good at acting and you can set that up. A lot of creators do that. Some of the most viral videos on the internet were done like that. But you're creating the feel, the look, sound, and feel like it's unfolding in real time, and they're watching live TV, and they don't know what's going to happen, and neither do you, and we're going to see how it pans out, right? It's just a different type of feel that you can add to your content very simply if you're filming something that you're actively doing in your day-to-day, right? So it's like sometimes I talk to our students and I find out that they have some sort of element that is in their day-to-day, and they're not leveraging it in their content. I say, why, right? First, I say why, and I try to get the reason. But then the next step is to, how do we implement this in your day-to-day, and how do we implement it in real time? You're just documenting what you do, right? If you already have a business and you're trying to talk to people about making money, film your day-to-day in that business. Film your interactions. Film when a customer calls to complain. Film when a customer comes in and they're doing business with you. Film when you're going to knock on a door of the neighbor because you just did a job for this guy. I'm thinking like, I'm using like in terms of like landscaping as this example, but it could be anything, right? As you're doing your taxes, film it. You don't have to show them anything important, but you're just filming on the job, live conversations happening, live day-to-day stuff. Right? Even if you work in an industry where that's going to be a really hard thing to do, what little pockets of time or pockets of opportunity do you have where you can do that, right? Is there a break room where you can film stuff at a job in real time, right? Just to not to consume your whole break with creating content, but just to go ahead and make it your videos a little more immersive, really more more real world, real time stuff. It just makes it more interesting. Try that. Implement that in your content and see what happens, right? See what it does. Because obviously, right, here's where, right? And now everybody's gonna get mad at me when I say this, right? All of these jewelers are doing the same damn thing, right? And how many of our students, right, they come through and they say, oh, I'm doing the same thing as everybody else, but it's not working. Well, the way you're doing it isn't interesting. It's not unique in any way. It's not, right? You're not differentiated. There's nothing memorable, right? Somebody looks at one of your videos. If you're somebody that's not getting views, then what's happening is when somebody looks at your videos, there's nothing they're remembering about that video. They scroll past it and they forgot they ever saw it. These people I showed you today, these jewelry people, they're all doing the exact same thing, and it works. They do it in their own interesting way. They follow the blueprint very, 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 very closely. And you can see, right, here's this same girl again. You're going to find these other jewelers also in these videos. Let's see if we come down here. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time looking for them, but they're collaborating. Here's the Trax guy, Trax NYC, they call him. It's just the whole group of people. There's even more of them that I'm seeing that I didn't even show you. There's more jewelers than just this. Here she is coming out. So this was like an intentionally filmed thing, right? We look at this. Watch this.
All right. Ron's got me on a mission right now. Let's make a negotiation.
That looked so natural. It looked like you were outside and you're just Carrie's walking towards you and saying, "Hey, come along with me. Let's go do this thing real quick. I got something I got to run and do, right? I got to run an errand, but come and hang out, right?" That was staged, right? That opening was staged. That the situation probably isn't. They probably really do have to go and run this errand, or right? She's on a mission, she says, right? But that was a staged opening. Look at this. Watch. Let's do it again.
All right. Ron's got me on a mission right now. Let's make a negotiation. Rami, I got to ask you something. Ron.
Look at how fast we're 5 seconds into it, right? We're 5 seconds into it. She walked out of the store, said what she needed to say. You went for a walk down the sidewalk, and now you're in the store doing the negotiation in 5 seconds. It's so quick. It's so snappy. The design. Now, a lot of this, again, is post-production. That camera probably ran the whole way. That camera video editor probably watched all that footage and said, you know what? For this particular video, all the chat that happened on the way to this store, we don't need it. Chop it out. Gone. Right? She might have had 15 minutes worth of valuable nuggets in there. And he said, yeah, but people aren't going to watch it. So he cut it out. And now this is what the video is. They're good. They know what they're doing. And so we're 5 seconds. Let's keep going. This is only 1:09 seconds. And then this will be our last one.
Sent me in here. He's trying to close a deal on something. This setting is priced out at a lot of money for what it is.
She uses these green screen overlays.
You gave it to me for $78.38. I'm just trying to see if you can help me make a sale. I tell you where I really want to be at.
Where you want to be at?
6,500.
Wow, that's tough, darling.
Because I got to put like $200-300 into it.
I understand that, but I already give you a super price. But what I'll do for you, the best, make it $7,200 to make it happen.
I don't like 72. I don't have much room. I got to do surgery on it.
I understand.
68. Can you do it for 68? $7,000. Close me at $7,000. Mazal me at $7,000.
71. Not me, not you.
Look at this suspense.
71. I didn't want to take a penny down.
Come on. We got an election going on. Let's just make this thing end today. All right. $7,100. Hopefully we work this all out and it's good. All right. I appreciate you, Rami. Thank you so much.
You got it.
Godmother went in, negotiated, got about $700-800 off of that deal. And that's the art of negotiation. You strong arm and you just make it work.
What's it? She's even got the cap cut ending on there. Didn't even take the watermark off, and it's still got a boatload of views. See, what's interesting about this too is it's interesting and it's cool, and I like watching it, and I want to watch the whole thing, and I want to see how it pans out, and I know how it panned out, but there's still a lot that went over my head. So at the end, she does this little like recap of the whole thing that happened. But by the time you get there, if the majority of people aren't watching the recap, it doesn't really matter, right? The payoff was when she got the deal, when the deal got done, right? But obviously you're not teaching or explaining. You're doing a real negotiation in front of people. Some people believe this is staged. It's not staged, right? This is all real deals happening. And you're just being able to be a fly on the wall and watch it all happen. So it's really, really interesting. So let's see here. Let me go back to come back over to my other view here. There we go. Solo layout. That's what we want. So here we are. So we're gonna put a bow on this one here, I think. So hopefully this was helpful. Moral of the story here is, how can you use? There's a lot of things we kind of talked about how you can implement, right? How do you take post-production and use it to make your videos more interesting? What can you intentionally do when you film to make your videos more dynamic? So that way you can get, better quality out of it, or get more angles out of it, or make it look like there was multiple people, right? You could film just like this with two people side by side, and then you could just zoom in on one and then zoom in on the other. Now you got two different videos, essentially. The audio will match, but you're just cutting back and forth between the people who are talking like an interview. And then also, how do you make your content really, really real? And how do you build that anticipation? And what can you implement? That's how all those pieces, amongst many other things, right? Amongst many other things, nobody here strikes me as this overly talented content creator, extremely skilled, extremely knowledgeable about what they do, not as content creators, right? I think they probably all make enough money to put people around them that can advise them and tell them how to do certain things, right? Like whether Kerry was the one that came up with, okay, you go stand out there, I'm going to come out and I'm going to very urgently tell you about this mission, right? I don't believe it was probably her that came up with that. There's probably someone else, maybe the camera person, or maybe a person alongside the camera person that is advising on these things, right? So well, that's kind of the whole thing, right? They make it seem so easy and awesome is what Monty says. And that's because it's professionally done. It's done very, very well. Now, if we don't have the luxury of bringing on a professional to help us make our videos look like this, then obviously we have some learning to do, right? But it's not something that's not doable. It's not something that's impossible. And even if you were able to get 25% of what they've got going on here, maybe you just filmed stuff in real time, right? As opposed to staging it all. Or maybe you started doing stuff on location. Or maybe, right, take one element. Does it improve your content? Does it level you up any? Is your videos getting better? Are you getting better results, more views? So there's a whole lot of interesting takeaways that you can look at. But, we're not looking at JC Penney's ads here, right? After we get off of here, go take a look at some regular jewelry ads. They're very good, but what is it? It's a jewelry setting on a mannequin and they're panning around it and they're talking about it and here's how you're going to feel. It's not fun and exciting. You get to see the look of the jewelry, which is what really matters, right? You see it. Do I like what I'm looking at? And then am I going to buy it, right? That's for a very bottom of funnel customer. That's for somebody that's like, okay, I'm ready to purchase something right now. Just show me what's out there. And then they're going to see it. They're going to click it. And they're going to make the order, right? But for these, they're capturing top of funnel. They're capturing top of funnel, right? People that had no interest or desire in watching, jewelry or watch related content, and they're going to get your attention just because there's so much going on, right? It's an interesting conversation. My friends don't know anything about this. I don't have people in my life that talk about this. I don't have people in my life that will teach me about this. I don't have anywhere to go to watch this. I don't have, right? I don't get to see this in my life. So now this is something new that I'm being exposed to, and they're bringing me along with them, right? Like when you're walking down the street and she's just talking to the camera, she's bringing you along with her. They're all doing the same thing. You get to hang out with, the other guys while they're giving out gold to people. You get to hang out with them while they're trying to buy a Rolex on the street, right? You're sitting there experiencing that as if you were there. And that's that realism element that makes it so interesting. That's what allows them to tap into basically any audience, right? And then it funnels down from there. So you could see, especially the tracks guy, he's probably the best example because he does a lot of retargeting ads. Like I get his ads on my feed all the time. And he'll come up and he'll say, hey, you're watching YouTube Shorts? Well, you should be wearing a gold chain while you're watching YouTube Shorts. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I probably should. And then that's his ad, right? It pops up and I can go right to his site and I can buy exactly what he was holding on the screen. It links right to that product. So he does some great advertising. And they're able to tap into somebody that would never be searching for gold jewelry because he has entertaining content that they want to watch just because. And because they're watching it just because, they're expressing a little interest now. They're starting to take interest in some of the gold and some of the jewelry. And they're like, you know what? Maybe I should have something like this. He's educating them, right? They're feeling more confident in doing business with them because he's talking about things like, this is how you identify a fake. This is the type of jewelry you should buy and shouldn't buy, right? They do a whole, like he did a whole thing on when it comes to diamonds versus cubic zirconias or whatever it is, right? The knockoff diamonds. They talk about lab grown versus natural and how to, get a natural one certified and what that process looks like and how they go through it. So now, right, it's like you watch this and you're also learning, you're getting some insight that you can use that maybe you don't need it. But if I do become interested in maybe buying some jewelry, even though I was taught it, I'm not necessarily going to use the knowledge. I'm just going to go to the person that taught me and buy from them, because that's where I'm going to feel safe. And that's how they're doing business. That's what their marketing is accomplishing here with these videos. So anyways, my friends, we're going to wrap this thing up. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day. If you haven't yet, make sure you go through our 5-day Learn, Launch, Lead challenge, because that's going to be the best introductory product in order for you to start if you want to get started in business and you have no idea where to begin. And you've been coming in here just kind of hanging out and watching these live streams. That's going to be the best place to get started. The other thing that I would say for you to do as well is, if you're in our blueprints, get registered for Decade Today on Friday. I will be there. And then I'm going to be going from here in about 9 minutes over to Support 101. So you guys, if you're in the blueprint, you're welcome to follow me into that. But we're going to go ahead and wrap. Everybody get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your day. And we will see you again real soon.